Monza and Baku didn't just give Red Bull a boost. They delivered a true competitive rebirth. And it's shaking the foundations of Formula One. What once looked like a season under McLaren's control is now turning into a psychological war where every detail, every lap, and every strategic call could rewrite the destiny of the championship. Norris and Piastri can feel the shadow of a third driver growing closer, threatening to destroy their dreams of glory. Max Verstappen,
you know what that is? Simply lovely.
The man many thought was out of the title fight after a rough start to the season, has stormed back with brutal force, and McLaren knows the situation is no longer comfortable. The arrival of Laurent Mekies, the new technical leader at Red Bull, transformed the team. The Austrian squad, which seemed lost at the start of the year, now shows a car that is evolving with every race. In Monza, the new floor made a difference. In Baku, the new rear wing completed the package and delivered a dominant victory. And it wasn't just Verstappen who shined. Even Yuki Tsunoda delivered his best result, proving Red Bull has found pace with both cars. This leap in performance is what is keeping McLaren awake at night, piling extra pressure on Andrea Stella and the entire team in Woking. 7 races and 3 sprints remain, and every single point will be vital. Verstappen is 69 points behind Piastri, still a large gap, but far from impossible. More than the math, it's the momentum that worries them. The Dutchman arrives with renewed confidence and morale, and when Max is in this kind of form, everyone in the paddock knows he's capable of a historic comeback. McLaren, on the other hand, just endured its worst weekend of the year in Azerbaijan. Piastri crashed in Q3, started under investigation, and made a mistake on the opening lap. He left Baku with 0 points, unthinkable for a driver who had been the very definition of consistency. Norris, who had a golden chance to slash the points gap, could only manage P7 after a questionable strategy and a slow pit stop that dropped him to P8 at the start of his second stint. That combination of errors opened the door wide for Verstappen's threat to become real. Andrea Stella didn't mince words. Underestimating Max would be an unforgivable mistake. He made it clear McLaren will have to revisit its internal plan and decide whether to keep full equality between their drivers or prioritize one of them to prevent Max from exploiting their rivalry. The memory of the Canadian GP, where Norris and Piastri merely collided, looms as a warning. Any internal clash could cost them the title, and the pressure is immense. Norris must finish ahead of Piastri in almost every race to keep his title hopes alive, especially if Verstappen keeps winning. The numbers are brutal. If Max wins every race and Norris and Piastri both finish on the podium, the Australian would keep just a single-point advantage over his teammate, and both would still lose the championship to Max. That puts them in an incredibly delicate position, where every strategy call could be seen as favoritism, fueling internal tension. The psychological factor is massive too. Verstappen thrives under pressure, as he proved in 2021 and again in 2024. He turns tension into performance. Norris, for all his talent, still needs to prove he can deliver under the highest pressure. Piastri must show that Baku was just a stumble and not the start of a downward spiral. His manager, Mark Webber, was overheard admitting that the young Australian is human, a rare comment that shows just how much that weekend shook his image as a cold, calculated driver. All of this makes the Singapore GP the ultimate turning point of the season. Marina Bay has never been an easy track for Red Bull, but if the RB21 is competitive there, it will confirm that the Milton Keynes team is truly back in the fight. Verstappen has already warned that it will be a physical and mental challenge, but he's ready to take the fight to McLaren. A defeat on a track that theoretically suits their car could be devastating for the team's morale. Red Bull's upgrades have already paid off, and even Helmut Marko took a jab at McLaren, saying they are breakable. In other words, if the pressure keeps building, the team might start making even more mistakes. The Constructors' title may already be virtually locked up for McLaren, but what really matters is the driver's crown. And on that front, everything is still wide open. A dramatic scenario: 7 races, 3 sprints, and a McLaren caught between 2 talented drivers, while a 4-time champion stalks them like a predator. Verstappen needs to take 10 points off Piastri and 6 off Norris per race to be champion. It sounds unlikely, maybe, but anyone who watched 2021 knows Max lives for this kind of challenge. The season that once looked decided has just gained a whole new storyline, and the next races promise to be explosive. So, do you think McLaren can keep control? Or are we about to watch Verstappen turn this chase into one of the greatest comebacks in F1 history? Tell us in the comments and keep watching, because the war for the title is just beginning.